Hi, this is Illia
And Nastia.
from CrazzzyTravel.com, and you're listening to Barefoot Radio.
Fire your boss, sell your car, travel the world. You're listening to Barefoot Radio with your host, Graham Brown.
Crazzzy Travel by name, Crazzzy Travel by nature. Illia and Nastia from CrazzzyTravel.com. Welcome to the show. Guys, you've been to a lot of places in the last few years. Perhaps you could fill us in and just give us a brief overview of your most recent itinerary.
We were to Southeast Asia, more specifically to Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Cambodia, things like that. After that, we were in India for 2 months. It was quite challenging, to be honest. We also traveled a little bit. We came back to Ukraine just to see our parents. So we made a short trip, like 2 weeks or so, to Georgia as well. Georgia, not state of the U.S., but Georgia is a country.
Right.
And we also had a tour around Europe where we conducted this €3 per day experiment. And right now we are in the U.S.
Right. Fantastic. So let's talk about when it all started. Where were you when you had that conversation? One of you, or maybe both of you, suggested, let's go travel. Talk me through that time. Where was it and who said it?
It was not a moment when somebody said it, but it was a continuous process that, it took us some time to realize that this is what we want to do. I cannot say, frankly, that this is all we do, but this is like one of the main things about our lifestyle nowadays. So we were just sitting in our native city, Kiev, and it's pretty dark sometimes and pretty gloomy and pretty depressing. And it's fueled up with a daily job that you hate or don't really like. So eventually it's a common decision. It's you just have to go online and buy a ticket and just do it, So I did it. I bought a ticket and I told Nastia that we are going to Singapore, and we saved some money. We just didn't spend a lot, so we had some funds on our bank account. So that's how it all started.
And Nastia, how did you react to that suggestion that you're going to Singapore?
Oh, that was just awesome, because before that we had 2 years of long-distance relationship, me living in Sweden and Ilya living in Ukraine. And, traveling together is the best way to spend time 24 hours per day, 7 days per week together.
Right.
So it was like the dream came true.
Yeah, right. So did you go to Singapore thinking that you're not coming back for some time, or was it just, let's just see what happens?
Yeah, probably the last option.
Right. Okay.
We just had money, so as long as we have money, let's travel.
Yeah.
Somehow it took us only 2.5 months. Then I don't know why. We could have spent less and traveled more, but that's another story.
Right. Okay. So when you left to go to Singapore, how did you talk that through with people that you knew? Did they think you were crazy, or were people really into the idea? What was the reaction to your idea?
Well, all of them treated it just as a summer vacation. Like, right. Everyone goes somewhere in the summer. Yeah, and when we told them that it's gonna be at least 2 months, they were like, "What? Oh, that's a long summer vacation." And yeah, but no more than that. And then when 2 months passed, parents started calling and were like, "When are you coming back?" And we were answering that we didn't know. So there was some pressure, so to say, social pressure, but not that much, because my parents are traveling people too, and Ilya's parents, they just accepted it.
Right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So the question I want to ask you now is, who or what inspired you to travel? Was it your parents, or something you've read, or something you've seen?
I think that the first person who inspired me to travel was Nastia, because when I met her, she was working for a travel journal that used to send her all around the world, and she had like press tours. She lived in the best hotels and ate the best food. You know, she had perfect material goods, not the budget type that we have now. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we like them. So her stories about where she has been and what she has seen, and her photos, and, you know, the fire in her eyes, this was the first inspiration for me, primary one. I don't know what inspired Nastia.
Well, I was inspired by one guy whom I met in the press tour in India. So he was a pretty nomadic person by that time. And he told me so many interesting stories about Peru and Nepal and all the places you usually don't go on prepaid tours. Mm. And I was really inspired by him. We're still really good friends, though many years passed. He just showed me another mode of living, so to say.
Right. So let's talk about that. Before you went on your crazy travel adventure, you were in the travel industry and enjoying all the benefits of working in travel, probably well looked after, and you stayed in nice places. Why did you give all that up for what you're doing now?
That was a complicated process because, first of all, I had problems with my editor-in-chief, and afterwards I wanted to finish my education, so I quitted my job, went to Sweden to spend there 2 years getting master degree. So by the time we started our travel, I was, so to say, out of the industry. I had a possibility to come back, but that was not exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be freer and, you know, more to travel where I want to, not where my editor-in-chief wants.
Right. But do you ever look back on that and think, wow, I wish I could stay in a 5-star hotel and have everything paid for me? And that's quite a good lifestyle, isn't it, to change?
I think we found out that there were better things than just expensive hotel. And when everything is arranged on a press tour, you don't have much time to see the local life. They show you the restaurants or some performances, but this is all tourist reservation style stuff, you know. That's why it's better to be free and do what you want.
Yeah. Moreover, we are travel bloggers right now, so we can go on the press tour if we want to. So
we don't miss it like that.
Yeah, we don't miss it.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about some of those moments where you can actually connect with the local culture and get out there beyond the standard itinerary. You've traveled some pretty amazing places. You've been all over Southeast Asia, for example, and now you're at the other side of the world in the US. Can you share with us a moment or some moments when you were traveling where it all made sense? You thought, yes, this is what it's about.
Well, that's why I love couch surfing, for example, because you never know what's gonna happen next and who is your host now. You know, you see the person, but you never know what will happen in 2 days. Sometimes the hosts are really boring, but still you think that if it was not for me coming here and meeting him, I would have never thought that people like that exist. And we met a guy like that in Switzerland. He was very weird, and but it was still great. And I think that the most amazing experience we had concerning local culture, and this is what we want moments, was in Sri Lanka when we were in I don't remember the name of the town.
I don't remember either. It's like really tiny place.
We stayed in a Ceylon, in a Sri Lankan family with full of kids riding every morning at like 5 o'clock. They wake up so early and they go at night, go to sleep at 1 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, they don't sleep at all.
That was crazy. Yeah, but we saw how they celebrate birthdays and that they don't give any presents to kids. So we were happy to buy her a toy, and this was the moment she was most proud in her life, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, that was, you know, Sri Lankan celebration of birthday is really, really different from ours because, no presents, first of all. Then there are lots of people who don't know each other. It's like, community party. And also there was the only food which was served, according to our understanding of birthdays, was birthday cake, but it was cut into the pieces, and the girl took the pieces and just gave to every single guest.
That's
She
nice.
was feeding us, so to say.
Yeah. So you stayed in Sri Lanka couch surfing, is that correct? How long did you stay there for?
We stayed in Sri Lanka for 1
4
month.
months, yes.
Right.
Yeah, we couch surfed, but we also stayed in some cheap hostels, which were pretty good, actually.
Right, okay. Let's talk about your experiences staying with families and staying with local people, because I think a lot of people think travel is about going and seeing something, like seeing the Eiffel Tower or seeing the pyramids. What is it for you? Is it that, or are you enjoying more of the connection with people on your travels?
Yeah, definitely more of the connection with people and nature. And we spent 2 weeks on Andaman Islands in India, and we were living near the most amazing forest we've ever seen. And it's actually so undiscovered. There are some articles about Andaman Islands, but nobody mentions this amazing prehistoric, I don't know what era, forest. So this is amazing.
Was an elephant. Every time we walked there, we met an elephant, and it is a little bit scary because he's moving so quietly that you can just, come face to face with him, and it's a little bit dangerous.
Wow, yeah, they're dangerous, right?
But locals told that he was a swimming elephant. He could swim. I've never seen that, but this is what we like. Something weird and crazy.
Yeah.
That's why we are called Crazzzy Travel after all.
Right, okay. So you're getting a lot of experiences that maybe open your eyes to the world, both in terms of nature, people, and so on. How has that changed you, if at all?
I have recently written a post how it changed us. So my basic conclusion would be that we gained some skills, like, protecting your food from ants. What is the best way to do that? Or, packing in 2 minutes, sleeping while you're standing, and things like that.
Right.
But on the other hand, the majority of information you can get on internet about it is just like, I widened my horizon, I broke all the boundaries, and so on. For me, it's just, it's blah blah philosophy,
Right.
You cannot touch it. Many people talk about their philosophical shifts or some deep changes, but I believe that it is not true. People don't really change while traveling. They just gain some skills and some experiences, but in terms of use, nothing changed, to be honest.
Right, so it's the same you inside. Does it change at all how you view other people or see the world?
Well, we see more kinds of people. That's why it's easier, I guess, to, if you see a person, what's going to happen next. It's easier to categorize people because you've seen so many people around the world. And personally, for me, I think I've changed a bit inside because now I get less impressed with things that I've seen before. So, for example, we are staying in New York City now, and it's so multicultural, and you can find any type of food, anything. But some people wonder that the Thai food in New York is so awesome, and this is their favorite place. But I can tell them that I've tried Thai food in Thailand.
Right.
So, maybe it's not on the inside again. It's practical. Yeah, it's knowledge. Nastia was right.
More about experiences because I must say that maybe I'm not impressed as well, but by what I see. But on the other hand, it's always so exciting to find something somewhere that still excites you. you know, as this elephant in the forest, or once we stayed in the current village, you know, this long neck tribe where women have really, really long necks. And we stayed with them, had tea with them, and Illia played guitar.
On some drugs, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we didn't take it. So, you know, and the boy there had a grasshopper as a pet. And I realized that people can have grasshoppers as pets at home. You know, it's something truly amazing.
Wow.
Not a dog, not a cat. You know, that's
so
what I'm
simple.
talking. Yeah.
We have still to write a story about it.
Yeah. It was amazing. So that's what I'm talking about, that it's just all about perception.
Right. So let's talk about that shift in terms of the places you're in, right? Not the mental shift, but you've gone from somewhere where simple living, hill tribes, you know, kids keeping grasshoppers as pets, now to the other side of the world in New York, which for many people would be the polar opposite of that. How have you found that? Have you adjusted? What sort of challenges have presented themselves to you moving to New York? Because it's a very different lifestyle, right?
Yeah. I don't think we think a lot about that. We just enjoy anything as long as we like it. There are so many things that we hated here, and we got trapped, and we wrote an article, Why New York City, the unglamorous side of New York City and why it sucks. And actually some of our readers didn't like the article, but there are so many things here that are different from anywhere else, and this is still like the same experience. You know, you move from one place to another, and you always find something new. So we think in this respect, not in the respect that is opposite of a simple living, because there are still people who live very simple life here, actually.
Right. And there are still some pretty archaic things from my point of view. For example, they have steam heating system. Who has steam heating system in the 21st century, you know? And it's everywhere all around New York. It's like 19th century or what?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. When you travel, you see how things are done around the world, right? You can see things could be done better, or different ways of doing things, and that's part of the education, isn't it?
Yeah, we could have helped Steve Jobs with.
You're too late. All right, so let's talk about money. So you have been traveling for over a year now. How are you funding your travels? Are you just burning through your savings? What's the secret?
So there are several sources of income. Probably the most important is part-time jobs, or like some random jobs we do from time to time. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we also freelance. So it's like regular jobs other people do, but we just work less and travel more, you know. And also I often get scholarships for studies. So right now in New York, we live for the money I got from Fulbright Foundation. So, you know, there are really different sources.
Right.
Also, blog brings some income, but not much.
Okay, but it all helps, right? So if I was a full-time employee, if I was working in, quote, what you'd call a daily hell job, and I was looking at your story thinking, oh, I would love to do that, but I can't afford it, what would you say to me?
Well, from our experience and how we see our friends do, the more they earn, the more they tend to spend. And I think this is the wrong culture, because, yeah, obviously in your head, when you know that you earn twice as much as you did 1 year before, you think that you can spend more and more and more, but it's wrong. It's like constant lap, and what's the point in that? It doesn't help you in any way. That's why even if we earn more now with help of our blog or our freelance jobs, we still maintain the same kind of life we did before. That's why if you are working on your daily hell job, you can still think of things that really matter for you in life and open up a bank account that you will not touch for 1 year, and you will be amazed at how much money you have there.
Yeah, because to start traveling, you just need $1,000, and that's it.